Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Tamang Bigkas, the first poetry reading by Espasyo and Flight School. We have our first poet. Let's welcome Jethro Sandico. A big round of applause.
Magandang hapon sa inyo lahat. Maraming salamat sa lahat na nandito. And, first time ko doon na ganito. Ako isang musician at medyo sanay ako sa may banda and shit. So please bear with me. Itong unang piece na babasahin ko ay parte na isang awitin na sinusulat ko. Title ito ay Anumang Oras. Anumang oras, pwede akong malagutan ng hininga, harapin ng walang hanggang pahinga, sunduin ni kamatayan, isisilid sa kabaong mapaglalamayan. Baka di ko na maabutan ng bukas, pumanaw at kumupas, tahan ng mga mahal ko sa luha, ito ang pabunas. Anumang oras, pwede kong makita ang puti na ilaw, sa mundong ibabaw, matibay yung pananaw, hindi nagpasilaw. Anumang oras, baka bigla ang mailagay sa hukay. Kaya habang ako'y nabuhay, pinipilit kong maging mahusay. Sa aking huling minuto, lahat sana kayo ay andito. Lahat ng nakatropa mula pa nung ako ay bagito. Kung sakaling iwan ko kayong lahat, walang asawa at anak, walang kayamanang imbak, ngunit tunay at hindi nagpanggap. Mag-iiwan ng ala-alang puno ng hapdi at sarap. Sana huwag kalimutan ng aking mga nagawa, mga walang katumbas na mga patawa. Buhay daw ay iisa, hindi dalawa. Sa pagtatapos sa kasisigaw, paos tumatagos. Di baling di sumikat, basta hindi nalaos. Sa salapi, hindi man nagkamal. Nabuhay naman na meron dangal, bahala na ang may kapal. Basta isa ako sa matitindi, tao ang humalal. Heto konkreto, salamat sa respeto. Hindi man naabot ang lupit ng idol ko si Jun Lupito, o kaya si Sir Louie, Wally at Mali, Rei, Mickey, Allen at Ian Umali, at marami pang ibang nagbigay sa akin ng lakas. Gumabay sa aking pagtuklas, anumang oras, mga naiwang bakas, mga nabaling batas, pagwawakas ng lahat ng pangamba. Baka bukas di na makatayo, ako ay tumba. Pakidamay ako sa mga dasal sa bawat simba, alaala ko sa pader, nakakapit, tila gagamba. Pero bago humantong sa paalaman, lahat ng kalaban ay lalamangan, at pag ako ang nauna, kita-kita sa kabila, kayo ay aking aabangan. Buhay ko sa mundo, nais kong masulit, naman ng isip, mahirap iguhit. Kahit tanong ng lahat ng tao ay bakit, nagpapakatotoo lang ako, huwag kayong magalit. Nais ko lang ilabas na nadarama ko sa loob. Akala nyo gusto ko nang mamatay, pero mali ang inyong kutob. Ang aking paglisan, di pa napapanahon. Marami kasing nagmamahal sa puso bumabaon. Sana makasama ko kayo na 100 pa na taon. Pero kung di man uubra, sabahan nyo na ako dito ngayon. Anumang oras. Maraming salamat. Ito. And, aya. And next, isa rin awitin na luma na pamagat nito, Escape from Shadowland. Helter-skelter in Shadowland, understand, crossing mental borders with a contraband. Towards the future we endure the procedure as we travel and unravel with a shovel the arcane secrets hidden in a phoenix's nest. What's next? Into the apex of the human cognitive dominion. As so mama minions, flabbergasted opinions turning like pinions. Sudden pandemonium, no oxygen, just helium. Burning veil, set sail, low bail, we're inside the stomach of a whale. Vultures turn into nightingales, slaughter all firstborn males, gaping up the dark stratospheres, immense hemispheres, you learn to see like a seer, with eyes closed, parasite and host, apparitions of past ghosts. Fourth state of matter, serve on the golden platter, constellations and reasons scattered, civilizations battered, complexities remain unexplained, no foundations laid. Theories unresolved, evolution itself has evolved, multiple infinities of negative degrees decimating deeply entrenched beliefs. Empirical, lyrical, intraocular, vernacular. Speculations of chimera spectacular. More massive than the sun. Galaxies merge into one. The neon genesis has finally come. Escape from Shadowland. Splintered like sand under my command. Foresee what's coming beforehand. From Sion we rummage, ceaseless scrimmage, like sages on a pilgrimage for ages. Of a war perpetually waged against Hades, obliterate the groundwork that laid these principles that made messiahs frustrators. Conflict over uncharted wars, who is the supreme creator? Fights over them a human race of telepathic debaters. Conventions convoluted, morals diluted, non-believers executed. Utilizing mediums as a pathway to unearth hidden agendas. Set sail on armadas, locate new home, locate newly formed novas. The upheaval that I have conceived is the communion that you receive. Interweave, just believe what you perceive. It's about time to leave. The wheels of destiny has turned. Learn how to unlearn. 6 trillion pan-dimensional bridges that I have burned. In the process, there's no other way we can ever return. Escape from Shadowland. Ayun, salamat sa Espasyo, tsaka syempre sa Sapore, and marami pa tayong mga babasa at tutula. Next natin si Tzar, syempre, ka-tropa. Si Sopa King. Salamat.
Sa mga hindi pa may alam, Espasyo po, espasyo.org is yung samahan ng mga artists dito sa Baguio. We provide blank stages for them to actually occupy. And there are a lot of events, a series of events will be happening. This is one of them. Tamang Bigkas ang title ng ating event na ito. And the first poet that you heard was Jethro Sandico, the vocalist of Skydive Academy. They would be playing next week, October 4, in Iris Bar. The next speaker would be who we call Sofa King. Please welcome Tzar Umang.
Salamat, Jake, sa pagbenta. Actually, first time ko ito magbasa sa public and composition. So, itong babasahin ko ngayon is paglabag ng bibig. So, isang beat ng ating bibig. Mga balitang pipit, mga pangakong napapako, mga katotohanan ng walang kalinawan, mga bagay-bagay na nagmumula sa malarong isip. Nasa nakikinig ay tila isang katotohanan ng udas. Ikaw nga siyang tagapaghatid ng balita. Puro-puro mo ay pilit, pinapatotoo. Sa bawat panata mo ay siya lang dapat totoo. Siya lang dapat ang katigan ng lahat. Ikaw lang ang dapat pakinggan. Dahil ikaw lang ang totoo at tama. Ikaw na nasa entablado na naghahatid ng pangako, nangangako kang bubuti ang buhay sa iyo. Sambit mo lagi, ikaw ang pag-asa. Ngayon, nakaupo ka na, nasa ng pagpapatotoo sa mga pangako. Sadya bang sa salita na lang at hindi sa iyo. Ikaw na nasa altar, hawak mo ay libro. Nanenermon ka tungkol sa pananampalataya. Sabi mo, ikaw ang sugo, ikaw ang tagapagligtas. Ngunit bakit ganito, ikaw pa rin ang mundo? Ikaw na nakatatanda. Dignidad mo ang iyong pinagmamalaki. Sabi ito ang tama, at ito ay sadyang mali. Pero bakit ganito pa rin walang kaayusan? Sa mga bagay na kayo ang namumuno. Tayo ng mga bata. Malaro ang isip, malikot ang utak. Ngunit dala nito sa atin na paggawa ng salitang taliwas. Kasinungaling ang walang humpay. Tayo na lumalabag ang bibig. Ilalaro ang ating isipan, ang bawat salita. Dala ng ating damdaming makasarili. Ito nga ba ang tadhana nating mga tao? Lumalabag sa katotohanan. Ngunit marapatin ko sanang magbabala. Tigilan na ang ating paglabag sa katotohanan dahil bukas makalawa, pwedeng pasakan ng isang katotohanan ng ating bibig. Isang katotohanan hindi malilimutan, katotohanan tatatak sa kaibuturan ng ating pagkatao.
Alright, palakpakan po natin ulit si Tzar Umang. So mga gusto pong lumipat dito sa loob, may bakanting espasyo. Ayan. Again, ang espasyo po, espasyo.org is samahan ng mga artists dito sa Baguio. At ang aming website, espasyo.org, inyo pong pasyalin. Kapag ginamit nyo po ang hashtag espasyo, makikita nyo po ang inyong hina-hashtag sa live.espasyo.org. Bakit nga ba namin binuo ang espasyo? Dahil gusto naming balikan ang identity ng mga taga-Baguio. Nais namin ilaban ang aming advocacy, ang rediscovering Baguio identity through appreciation of arts. Okay, sino po ang next natin?
Ang susunod natin na magbabasa sa ating harapan ngayon ay si Rose Urquico. Bini-bini ni Rose. Pakilala ka.
My name's Rose. I'm a Baguio girl through and through. Kung mahilig kayo mag-slam, mahilig kayo magbasa ng poem, daan kayo ng Mountain Cloud, the bookstore. We always have slams. Third Monday from the sun. Tapos ang masaya pag third Monday, it's not just the poems, it's the people. And anyone can join. Follow nyo yung Mount Cloud sa Facebook. And we always update kapag may slam. Enjoy, sobrang enjoy. So this is I have a collection sort of coming out soon. So the title of the collection is Going to Be Odd and Brutal Things, and this is one of the poems that will be part of it. It's called Rabbit Fever. I'll eat the bones, she said. I'll boil them in pots for you. Marrow is good. I think of eating bone marrow, bulalo, soup, by the bus station. The scarred aluminum pots, flecked with black charcoal, the bubbling soup sliding across a cracked metal table to my waiting hands, elbowing the bus drivers aside, all these things, cracking open the bones to suck the marrow out. Elsewhere, people eat the insides of bones and top them with snails. They smear them with bread and eat them with butter. Elsewhere, we are rabid for meat. In China, meat is a prize, and the dogs stagger into the streets, fleshless. They tell the whites to stay away from the dark alleys, from the vats where they boil them alive. In a restaurant in Nicaragua, someone's been serving human flesh. Is this it? I ask, as she ladles a glorious portion out. I think of hovering over masses of pale and red flesh, selecting what I must eat, in gleaming groceries with aisles that stretch for miles. And she says, yes, you must eat. There is nothing finer than this. Thank you.
Our next poet would be, let's all welcome Kabunyan Palaganas. There are two of them, actually. That's Kabunyan Palaganas and John Levi Masuli. Masuli, sorry. Sorry. I see. Alright, there has been a change of skeds. Mauna po si Janine Dimaranan from Pedantic Pedestrians. Please welcome with a round of applause.
Magandang hapon. Bigyan ko ng hustisya yung tula. Yung title ng tula, Pangkaraniwan. Pangkaraniwan na anak, ang pagbisita ko sa iyong silid, tuwing dinadalaw ako ng pangungulila. Ililigid ko ang mata at mababatid kong kailangan ng muli ang kalinga ng ina. Sa simulay, bubuksan ko ang iyong kabinet. para sumingaw ang nakulog na hangin at mga alaala. Tatambad sa akin ang mga damit mong naghihintay sa iyong katawan. Ang mga nakatiklop na medyas na inulila ang iyong kalampakan. At ang itinabi mong sapatos na umaasa pa na muli mo itong ihakbang. Wawalisin ko ang sahig kasabay ng paglinis ng mga dumi at aliw na naipon sa isip ko't dibdib. Mulit-muli, parilikitin ko ang apoy ng aking pananalig na ang puso mo'y patuloy na pumipintig at naririyan ka lamang sa piling ng mga magbubukid sa lugar na limpid. Lilinisin ko ang iyong mga gamit. Pupunasan ng mga alikabok na kumapit sa upuan at mesa at sa mga kumupas mong larawan. Matapos ang maghapon, mamamahinga ako sa bagong palit na punda at kobrekama. Yayakapin kita sa unan katulad noong una, nung natatakot ka pa sa dilim at sabay tayong makakatulog. Pangkaraniwan na anak ang paghimlay ko sa iyong silid tuwing nakadarama ako ng pagod sa paghahanap sa iyo. Nariyang magdikit ako ng iyong litrato sa mga poste sa lugar na matao o kaya'y mamigay ng polyeto. Magtanong kung kani-kanino sa mga barangay at munisipyo, sa mga presinto at kampo, sa bawat pagbungkal ng pala at sa naiipong pag-asa ng pintig at kutob na kita'y makikita pa at makikilala sa mumunting detalye ng inaahon na labi. Pangkaraniwan na anak ang pagbisita ko sa iyong silid tuwing magtatagumpay akong makilala ka. Sa mga sabi-sabi ng iyong kaibigan, ng mga kasamahan, sa aming mga kwentuhan, sa iyong mga nakilala at sa kanilang mga alaala at sa sama-sama naming paggunita sa iyong pagkawala. Sa mga bagong nakilala na tulad ko'y nasasanay sa mga pangkaraniwang bagay. Salamat.
Ano lang, creamy lang talaga.
Maraming salamat kay Janine. And meron silang grupo, Pedantic Pedestrians. Grupo ng mga manunula. At kasama nila si John Levi na kabanda ko rin sa Skyline Academy. And wala pang susunod na babasa.
Hello, ako si Kabunyan Palaganas. Ito si Levi. First time kong magbasa ever. Pero pumunta ni Levi. Tokyo, Oslo, Berlin, Paris, Doha, Kuala Lumpur, Vienna, Seoul, Taipei, Damascus, Caracas, Hanoi, Tunis, Islamabad, Lisbon, Lima, Cairo, Havana, Prague, Helsinki, Copenhagen, London, Washington, D.C. A city is a drug, is a drug, is a drug, is a drug, is a drug. A hallucination, a high, pointless mental state, a fire exit, an ascent to the rooftop, a look down from the ledge, a hesitation, a fall, a deal closed in a urinal, a hit, an eye emerging from a wound, a custom-made adult diaper for the pent-up inadequacies, longings, rejection letters, tears, and all that shit. To be disposed at your own chosen time and your own chosen place until it disposes you. The city is a drug. city is like an armpit. Black towers, hair rising among the friction, the sweat, and the smells, and the deodorant which sanitizes it. Patch of skin under Earth's luminescent body, blackened by contact and bad hygiene. A place to snuggle into, an external wound to enter, until some power one day decided to proclaim, let's transform the whole world into a city. While the whores and the homies asked, who the hell wanted to live in a world full of armpits? The city is a language, a tool to vocalize your fleeting thoughts. You stroll around in search of that one true thought. And then you become mesmerized by beautiful words and you cry, listening to them. And finally, your one true thought fades and you forget. You fade and you drift away. Like Po and Opo to strangers who eventually become your friends. The city is nothing but an intersection between the highway of your expectations of it and the wet alley of your fears. A city is a collection of houses and establishments and parks and pedestrians and snatchers and mothers and fathers and children, the children of mothers and fathers who abandoned them. A collection of faces and facts and roads measured by the number of tourists looking at them and paying them for being what they simply are. A city is Filipino, American, Korean, Japanese, Thai, French, British, menthol, filtered, carbonated, easy to cook, disposable with chocolate filling with antibacterial formula scented with the essence of eucalyptus, made with authentic leather, mainstream, indie, 80 proof, easy to cook, just add hot water. With new arrival, indigenous, imported, organic. A city is everything and everything and everything except human. Cebu, Davao, Vigan, Santiago, Bacolod, Dumaguete, Cebu, Olongapo, Dapitan, Tarlac, Cabanatuan, Dasmariñas, Bacoor, Naga, Pasig, Parañaque, Valenzuela, Makati, San Juan, Taguig, Espasyo.
Kaya ganyan yung pamagat niya kasi tamang chill lang, tamang tambay, tamang bigkas. Pero pag in English mo siya, correct pronunciation. So, wala na, trip lang. Next na tutula sa harap natin ay si Joshua Rei Ubaldo. Palakpakan po natin.
Okay, hello guys. I'm Josh from Monday Poets. Every third Monday nag-meet kami sa mga cloud workshop. So anyone who loves words, punta lang kayo doon around 6, 7 every third Monday of the month. Anyway, itong piece na to is the second piece pa lang ever na i-perform ko sa Filipino. And I'll need a bit of audience participation. So if you don't mind, tingin kayo lahat dito. And every time I point the mic to you, I want to hear you say masa, okay? So ang title kasi nitong piece ko is Bigkas ng Masa. I just finished it kanina lang, okay? So, practice tayo. So, bigkas ng masa. Bigkas ng masa. Bigkas ng masa. Okay, start na natin. Simpleng konsepto sa mga salita. Kung mag-iba ng baybay, mag-iiba ang definisyon. Kung mag-iiba ng bigkas, iba na rin ang description. Diba? Ngunit sadyang may mga salitang makukulit. May mga konsepto kahit bali-baliktarin mo, may natitirang pagkakahambing. Tignan natin ang salitang masa. Napaka-makapangyarihang salita. Masa. Konseptong nagbabago ng mundo. Masa. Salitang karaniwang ibinabandila ng mga politiko. Masa. Patuloy na isinisigaw ng mga gustong maging bayani ng bansa. Masa. Eh paano kung sabihin kong bulok at laspag na yung salitang masa? Magpunta tayo sa South America, kung saan hindi tao ang tinutukoy ng masa, kundi mais na dinurog, pinulbura, hinugis at itinatapon sa apoy para palamanan ng kung ano-ano at kainin ng mga tao. At bakit? Di ba pwedeng kaining mais na lang? Bakit kailangan pang gawing masa? Eh kasi naman, yung mais na buo-buo, mahirap lagyan ng palaman, mahirap sumipsip ng sausawan, at lalong mas mahirap nguyain ng maramihan. Parang tao kung minsan, kapag dinurog, pinulbura at sinunog ng kahirapan, pag dumating ang tamang palaman, tatanggapin yan. Kayang pasukin ng ideolohiyang may hawak ng kaban ng bayan. At kahit anong klaseng idealismo ang hawak at balak mong ituro, sa gutom na tao, panalo si Maslow. Hierarchy of needs. Ang taong maralita, di muna kailangan ng maraming salita. At syempre, ang iboboto nila, yung may binayad sa kanila. Masisisi mo ba kung wala ka namang ginawa para iangat sila? Isang terminong ginagamit na tumutukoy sa pagmanipula, pagbilog ng arena para gawing pandesal, paghampas at paglamas sa laman para ang bossing marelax at masarapan. Masa. Binobola, minamanipula para magamit ng kung sinong mangkamay ang may hawak ng korap na media. Mikropono sa kanan, envelope sa kaliwa. At parehong kamay, masa ng masa ng masa. Di nabale sana kung nagiging mura ang presyo ng arena. Pero ang nangyayari, ang tao napapamura pag nakita kung sinong hari na. Masa. Tanggalin ang atensyon sa mga problema, ilagay na issue ang skandal ni Daniel Padilla. Masa. Alisin sa isip kung sakaling may ayaw. Relax na lang, nood kayo, may laban ulit si Pacquiao. Masa ng masa ng masa. Ubusin ang mga taong nag-iisip ng mag-isa. Gamitin ang kapangyarihan ng marami laban sa mga sarili nila. Masa. Isang bilyong boses nagkakalat sa social media. Masa. 1 milyong ideyang pinagpapasapasahan ng walang ideya kung saan ang pinanggalingan. Masa. Kapangyarihan na inabuso ng maling mga tao at pinipilahang gamitin ng kung sino-sino. Magalit man kayo sa sasabihin ko, ang tao matalino pero sa panahon ngayon ang masa uto-uto. Sana nakuha nyo ang punto ng tulang ito at matutong mag-isip ng kanya-kanya. At sa susunod na pagtaas ko ng kamay ko, makakaisip na kayo ng ibang salitang sasabihin nyo. Bago magtago sa likod ng mga tao, kilalanin muna kung sino ang nasa harap nyo. Huwag makiayon sa uso ng basta-basta. Mag-isip at huwag sumali agad sa masa. Wala pa rin. Okay, okay. Kami mga bata. So I can perform that piece. Ito na lang. Okay, second piece. I actually didn't title this one. You should fall in love with Baguio in the rain, just like how a guy should fall in love with a girl when he sees her first thing, disheveled in the morning, or when he watches her sleeping and hears her snoring. Fall in love with Baguio when you're stuck indoors with nothing to do and everything's just boring. You see, everyone can love Baguio in the sun. With breathtaking views and vibrant colors, you'll feel an attraction so surreal, it's like falling in love with an actor. But anchor those emotions and keep them on the ground, because you'll never truly love Baguio until you love it when June comes around. And the first fat drops of rain hit the soil, giving off steam that smells faintly, not of grass, but of sayote. Love Baguio not just for the prices of the ukay-ukay, but for the fact that here, nobody cares if you wear ukay-ukay. Actually, love Baguio because everyone here wears ukay-ukay. Love it for the people and the fact that here you can stroll through the mall wearing pajamas and slippers and nobody would look at you and act like they were better. Love Baguio for the taxi drivers who would never charge you a centavo above what's on the meter and who would give you the right change even if it was just 1 peso. Love Baguio for the food. For that perfect pinikpikan on a cold, rainy afternoon, giving off its heady aroma of charred chicken and ginger, with a soup so divine you hear angels sing as it slides down your throat. Love Baguio when it's cold. And I don't mean because it's cold, I mean when it's cold. When the cool air stops being something that brings you relief and turns into something that you have to survive. You have to keep that love alive. Just as you would keep your passion burning for someone whose quirks you found cute before, but now you find kinda annoying. True love isn't cute. It's hard work and it's beautiful. It's vigilant and it's dutiful. Love Baguio and all the parks you might have found so delightful as children, but now that you drive and have no place to park, those are the same places you want to flatten. Like a man facing midlife crisis, you reach into your pocket and tell the wife who stood beside you through everything you've been through to go buy a couple of silicone bags and have them inserted into her bust. That's not love, that's lust. Or worse, it's like telling your partner in the family, "Psst, hey, you only need one kidney, right? Let's sell the other one because daddy needs a new pair of shoes." That's not love, that's abuse. Love Baguio in its entirety, embrace its beauty, its faults, its people and idiosyncrasies. Taste the food and savor the inconsistencies. For though we grow as a city, we must never lose our identity. And if our lack of parking spaces is what people will mock, then we'll tell them, Baguio's a small city. Enjoy it. Get out and walk.
Kulit yan doon.
Ay, salamat Joshua Rei Ubaldo. Ayan, galing. Ayun. Ang next na manunulat natin ay ang isa sa mga kapatid, si Rommel Pidazo. Palakpakan ko lang.
That's a BIN.
Hello. Old poetry. Ang title niya, Chinelas. So, performance ko that is Poetry Slam sa On Cloud. 2010 na poet. Chinelas. Ba, yan. Gising, chinelas ay hanapin. Lakad, trabaho, para may kakainin ako. Wala kaming magulang, nakatira kami sa daan. Pulot, basura, o pwede palimos na lang. Bayan, gising, chinelas ay hanapin. Lakad, trabaho, para may kakainin ako. Wala kaming magulang, nakatira kami sa daan. Pulot, basura, o pwede palimos na lang. Bayan, gising, chinelas ay hanapin. Lakad, trabaho, para may kakainin ako. Wala kaming magulang, nakatira kami sa daan. Pulot, basura, o pwede palimos na lang. Wala kaming aral, kaya kung ano-ano na lang. Damot mo kinangayan, sobrang gutom, wala nang paggalang. Sa oras ng hirap, araw-araw na lang. Bayan, gising, chinelas ay hanapin. Lakad, trabaho, para may kakainin ako. Wala kaming magulang, nakatira kami sa daan. Pulot, basura, o pwede palimos na lang. Wala kaming aral, kaya kung ano-ano na lang. Damot mo, akin na nga yan, sobrang gutom, wala nang paggalang. Sa oras ng hirap, araw-araw na lang. May chinelas ka ba o nakapapamanda ka na? Bayan, gising, chinelas ay hanapin. Lakad, trabaho, para may kakainin ako. Wala kaming magulang, nakatira kami sa daan. Pulot, basura, o pwede palimos na lang. Bayan, gising, chinelas ay hanapin. Lakad, trabaho, para may kakainin ako. Wala kaming magulang, nakatira kami sa daan. Pulot, basura, o pwede palimos na lang. bayan. Gising, tsinelas ay hanapin. Tsinelas. Ang title niya, Sundalo, Salita, Bagong Teknolohiya. Art Poetry, may work ako na Rizal. So ito yung Rizal ngayon na pananaw or pagkakaintindi ko. Sundalo, Salita, Bagong Teknolohiya. Sundalo laban, yan ang unang patakaran. Pagtanggol ang bayan, gamitin ang sandata sa tamang paraan, lakasan ang loob sa bawat laban, salita. Pwede mong bigkasin paraan ito para maramdaman ang gustong sabihin bawat salita. Bigyan ng maganda ang katuturan, bawat letra may silbi at mahalaga. Sundalo salita, di ka nag-isa, marami kang kasama sa pananaw ng tao, iba-ibang gusto, iba-ibang paniniwala. Minsan kasama mo to, minsan kalaban mo. Pero bawat patak ng buhay kailangan ng magandang saysay, laban, salita, negatibong paniniwala. Sundalo salita, kailangan sabihin, kailangan iparating, kailangan maramdaman. Bawat patak ng hangin, patak ng hangin, patak ng ulan, at simoy ng hangin, ang ulan di may pigilan. Pati ang hangin na daraan, ulan, bagyo man dumating, di natin may pigilan yan. Hangin, gano'n man kalakas ang hangin, daraan pa rin. Simbolo ito ng sundalo salita ko. Bagong teknolohiya, bagong paraan para sa paggawa ng bagay, bagong isip ilabas. Baka ito yung makulay, bagong daan para sa atin lahat. Nasira ng mundo dahil sa mga gawain ng mga nasira ng mundo dahil sa mga gawain ng mga tao. Nasira ng mundo dahil sa mga basurang bumabara dito. Salamat. Ang title niya, Bagyo. Malamig. Mahangin. Malamig. Lakad. Maliit lang ang syudad. Masarap mamasyal. Maginaw na panahon. Masarap mag-isip. Eto ang panahon. Malamig. Mahangin, malamig, masarap sa bundok, mamasyal at mag-ikot, magandang panahon, magdasal at huwag makalimot. Ang last poetry. Ang title niya is Tamang Bigkas. Bigkas. Nanginginig ako, man. Ibigkas ang kasiyahan. Ibigkas ang kalungkutan. Ibigkas ang kalayaan. Tamang bigkas ng kasaysayan. Naglalakad, nag-iisip, nagpaplano ng gagawin, saan patungo, malayang kapaligiran, malayang huminga sa daan, malayang magsulat, malayang magmahal, malaya sa kung ano-anong positibong pananaw, lumalakbay, lumalangoy, nalunod tayo sa hirap ng buhay. Tamang bigkas ang kasaysayan ng positibong pananaw na tayo ay malayang gumalaw, mag-isip, magsulat. Bata, pasok sa eskwela. Bata, mag-aral mabuti. Bata, makinig sa magulang. Bata, maglaro, magsaya. Nadaanan natin ang pagbata. Mga oras na yon, ang mga laro ay sipa, touch the body at hide and seek. Malayo na ang panahon noon na ang laro ngayon ay uupo ka na lang at haharap sa TV na para ka lang nanonood. Pero ay naglalaro ka na gamit mo ang daliri, mata at isip. Ang buhay noon at ngayon, tamang bigkas lang ng kasaysayan. Bigkas ang kasiyahan, ibigkas ang kalungkutan, ibigkas ang kalayaan, tamang bigkas ng kasaysayan. Naglalakad, nag-iisip, nagpaplano ng gagawin, saan patungo, malayang kapaligiran, malayang huminga sa daan, malayang magsulat, malayang magmahal, malaya sa kung ano-anong positibong pananaw. Ang buhay noon at ngayon, tamang ibigkas lang sa kasaysayan. Salamat.
So, pasalamatan lahat ng dumalo sa ating event. And espasyo.org, baguocitypeople.com, hashtag BaguioInspiresMe.
BaguioInspires.me.
BaguioInspires.me.
Okay. English naman. So, good evening. My name is Danae. Kabilang ako sa mga tumatambay sa Mount Cloud tuwing third Monday. Hi guys. Monday po, sandyan po sila. This one's about depression, and I know each and everyone who experiences this breaks down in a different way, and this is patterned after a question that was asked for Lorenzo. Why is it so tiring to cry? I was asked, and in a moment thousands of reasons raced and pushed past each other, reasons that probably weren't simple enough. How do I put this down simply enough that you and I might understand? It's exhausting to cry. Anybody who does this often enough, or anybody who does this at all, knows that it may well be considered athleticism to have one's heart heave so constantly, to ache so physically, but not physically enough to merit a diagnosis. It is exhausting to hold oceans in your chest, to let your breaths and wails slap waves against cold rocks lodged in your throat. Anyone who bears such a weight must know. They surely must know that no reason is too small to leave you curled up. No cold floors or open windows are cold enough to take away this burning that slithers beneath your eyelids, that spreads slowly through your cheeks as though they were ponds, clear and still and perfect, violated by a single touch of wet earth. No pillows or blankets warm enough to envelope this cold, dreadful ball we cradle in our gut. It wears one out to be a hyphen, stretched out and suspended between living and trying to stay alive, pulling two things together, holding as far and pulling as close as your feeble arms will allow. And after the war, once the tornado has left your vital organs, your insides hold on for dear life, afraid that the winds might tear through into this temporary peace once more. This is exhaustion, lying on its side or shifting constantly and restlessly against the faint flickers of tomorrow, into pink, orange, blue. Any sleep at all is bliss, and you wait. Before long, sleep will come. Sleep will come. And sorry, Bigat. The next one is called Until. At the grade school I went to, a Catholic school in particular, they taught religion. Yes, that's what it was called, religion. And here they teach you that there is one divine being whose love and presence and power is all encompassing, whose laws we must latch onto to be saved. Dear God, even in science class they teach you that the world was created in A, 7 days, or it was B, initially a hot dense mass, and here I am, mid-20s, asking my Catholic school Jesus to wait a little longer for me just in case. Just in case this personal hell we all keep in our hearts isn't the real one already. Just in case our suffering isn't bad enough for him to punish us with already. All these years, my concept of God has remained as schooled and as comfortably bundled up in my mind as the way you would feel about your grandmother's house, or your favorite place to eat away the smoky, broken promises of last night. All these years I've remained in this limbo that I mistook for safety, pretending I had no walls but built them as I went, until she hopped along, annoying, looking for a God of her own but keeping her Catholic school Jesus tucked away for safekeeping because she likes him, because she freaking likes him. And no, we don't discuss religion, or her religion, or my religion. But now she has sent me plummeting into myself to reevaluate my misconstrued faith, because this one evening, my headlights bathed her in what seemed to me was a holy light demanding a sort of reverence in her struggle to put the phone down and smile at me through the windshield. Opening the car door on her own was this divinity, descending into my front seat like I deserved this salvation. And she was my until, and everything that came after it. Thank you both.
Maraming salamat, Danae Gallardo. Ayan. Baba. Welcome natin ang next na poet natin, si Jessica Faye.
Hi, good afternoon to everyone here. Thank you so much for coming. Hi, I'm part of the Tambays na Mount Cloud. Yun na lang ating pangalan. Part of the Monday Poets, a community of spoken word artists that in Baguio that meet in Mount Cloud every third Monday, and you are welcome to join us. Just go to Mount Cloud Bookshop every third Monday of the month. So, parang feeling ko may theme. May theme ba? Okay. Sabi mo yan, ah. I'm going to read a recent piece I wrote for right after Baguio's 105th Charter Day. So, Baguio muna. I am losing my city. I am losing my city to things that I don't understand. I am losing my city to very pretty water fountains. I'm losing my city to gravel. I am losing my city to roads reconstructed too often, paved with the sweat of taxpayers. I am losing my city to overly marketed festivals the morning after. In the aftermath, streets still sprinkled with dead petals and trash. I'm losing my city to my government. I'm losing my city to foreign words like urbanization and globalization and 3-day sales. I'm losing my city to things that I don't understand, and in the midst of it all, I wonder if it was mine to begin with. I arrived here, feet ahead of me in a frantic run to catch up with everything, be everywhere. I panic at the thought of missing out, that I might look away and look back to another closing sign. The lights are off. The darkness creating a space neither full nor empty, just erased. My favorite place in this city is the morning. At the start of everyone's day. And the traffic is just about to begin. It's Sunday and the old couple from across the street, they set up their sidewalk bookshop. A group of friends spill into the cafe, and I hear them. 5-inch heels clacking along the marble floor. They sit opposite beside me, faces in that state between drunkenness and passing out. They still manage to exchange clips of last night's escapades. I feel old. I feel old in a way that a song feels old after you've heard it too many times. I feel old in a way that a park feels old when childhood memories chip the paint and rust the swing sets. The boats and the benches we marked our names in. We were here. We just wanted someone to know that we were here, but they're not there anymore. The same park looks younger than me now. This cafe window is in HD screen displaying things that I am not ready to live in, and I am a watcher without even the convenience of a remote. I can't even switch channels, can't even change it back, can't bring it to the city that I once knew. I ache for a change of scenery. I ache for a time machine every time I find another haven, a warm bookshop, a place with so many quirks. Coffee by the fireplace, homemade beer. My city doesn't feel like it was mine. I am misplaced and dislocated in my own home. In the torrent of changes, my city feels like such a stranger that I want to get to know again. Thank you. This is another poem that is slightly related to the last poem that I read. So yun. So, kinakabahan ako. But anyway, before I perform this piece, I would like to invite everybody to the third Monday from the Sun. It happens every third Monday at Mount Cloud Bookshop, and we would be so happy to hear you perform your own pieces and share with us your poetry, your songs, monologues, whatever. We welcome anything. Your diary, a lot, just everything. We are in, yeah. You don't look like you're from here. Ever since I can remember, I always get the same response whenever I say that I'm a full-blooded Igorot. They say, wala sa itsura mo. Or, wa tagababa. Or, this is my favorite, by the way. You're too liberated to be from Baguio. Woo! like being from somewhere meant having to act or look in a certain manner, like they had to read my hometown in my forehead, or hear it when I start to speak, or hear it in the trails of my sentences. I take everything with a grain of salt. I am always left confused, not knowing to take it as a compliment or an insult. My existential problem intensifies as I note the surprise in their eyes when I tell them where I come from. I feel as if I'm not ethnic enough. Like I am only half of what I'm trying to be, and I'm not even sure what that is yet. I come across people who talk down to me, they scoff at me, they try to teach me about my roots and upbringing. I try to educate me about the land I was raised in. I'm sorry if you do not see the indigenous in my face, or hear it in my voice, or feel it in my presence. I'm sorry that I do not have any tribal tattoos to show you, or traditional garb to present myself in, like a neatly wrapped package of commodified culture you would buy at a souvenir shop. Yeah! I'm sorry that your boxes are too small for me to fit in. But the acculturation of my being does not diminish my history. I am daughter after daughter of warriors and healers, of farmers and builders, architects of terraces in the metropolis. My skyscrapers will humbly bow down to this land's acres. This city has proved to me that it still knows what the word value means. And no circus of greed, 3-day yellow price tag can change that. I am the neutralized generation of Baguio. The generation that has English as our first language, Ilocano as our second, and Filipino shoved down our throats. I learned to soften my accent to accommodate the vocabulary and syntax, so much so that the hard and heavy Igorot in me grew silent. The kankanae fell so back that whenever my elders tried to talk to me, all I could do was say po and opo. You would see the dismay in their faces, the disappointment and amusement as another one of the younger generation falls to the city. In each side, I am an outsider, foreign to my own province's rituals, trying to fit in the skin of my kin, of thriving traditions they carried on their backs and hitchhiked their way to the center. From the edges of these mountains to the high, from the edges of these mountains so high, even the clouds float above you. You're so close to the sky, you'd swear even Abu Jos could hear you. My elders traveled with potatoes and cabbages, like goods for trade. They enter the market of cultural exchange. How much is your life worth here? Sorry. Here we are grounded. Here the cement is so close to our feet. Here it hurts to walk barefoot. Here havens turn untraceable. No footprints to greet the earth, to kiss the fertile ground, to carve names into chunks, into benches, to make any mark, as if pleading that this city not forget us, and not forget that we were here to see it grow. We were here to see it break down and struggle against identity crises. My identity crisis is that I am both sides of the coin. Neither provinciana nor urbanite. I will show you that city girls like me, we know how to bare our teeth. We can shed the glitter off our eyeshadow. We can kick off our stilettos, throw away our silver bracelets and rings. We know what real gold feels like. It feels like 105 years of trying to change for anyone who will call this our home. The men I loved, they always go back to where they come from. I am Never too much, but I am often too many. Too many meanings relate in the words of the wrong language. You should be afraid of women like me, who can curse you in 3 different languages and love you in 3 different cultures. You will misunderstand, misinterpret, and fail to translate my emotions. You will learn that my anger comes in tears. Fuck you is mild. Putang ina is back off. And okin inam is pack up your bags, because that is the biggest trouble you can find yourself in. I am learning now that sometimes communicating means not having to say anything, that I do not have to explain my geography, that I, like my city, can always stay in the middle, always on our way forward and always on our way back to our origins. I, like my city, am beautifully, indefinably me. Well played, that. I'm calling the next poet to perform, Jardine.
Tag pala. Tag pag itapin. Balik ka dito. Hello, I'm Jardine. I'm also one of the Monday poets. Okay. Yay! I'll be reading one of my poems. Di ko alam if we can relate this to Baguio, but yeah, I guess we can. One of the most difficult things about being a Monday poet is that you have to come up with something new or find something new by the next 3rd Monday. And sometimes that's the difficult thing because of writer's block or lack of new material that interests you. So sometimes I follow Sarah Kay's advice, and to paraphrase her, she said that if you can't come up with a poem, just come up with a list. So this is my list of reasons of staying inside. Reason number 1, because it's cold. 2, because it's hot. 3, because you're broke. 4, because your downloads at 90%. 5, because your downloads at 20%. 6, because it's hard to make eye contact with people. 7, because your bed is more comfortable than jeepney seats or concrete streets. 8, because your heart is still broken and all the pieces aren't accounted for, and you might step on them on your way out the door. 9, because when you walk out, you're not sure you'd want to come back, and it's very important that you do come back. 10, because your feet still hurt from walking miles last night looking for lost things and finding none. 11, because the air tastes better indoors, the water tastes cleaner, and the food is warm. 12, because you won't have to act nice, even though you are nice, but then they still tell you, you have to act nice. 13, because sometimes lying down in your bed watching dust motes float down is better than putting up with thick, sweaty bodies pushing against each other. 14, because inside are blanket forts, pillow forts, mountain chairs, and the floor is lava. 15, because inside you can sit anywhere you want to read and find out what will happen next. Will Angel forgive Tess? Or will he be the most disappointing leading man you've ever read? Probably worse than Heathcliff. 16, because inside you can traipse around in your undies and a robe and a crown. Because inside is safe. 18, because inside is where everything makes sense. 6, because inside is where everything makes sense. 19, because even when you lose yourself in your own mind, in your own palace, nothing would have moved, nothing much would have changed. Everything would be where it should be when you come back. Then again, despite this extensive list of becauses, of rationalizations, of romanticizations, in the end, you don your clothes. You don your clothes and your jeans and your cleanest shirt and step outside. Because outside is where you feel blood rushing to your fingertips and toes with every turn of your head. Your body tenses to every touch, to every sight. Outside may stink, but there are good smells too. Of coffee, of cinnamon, of meat being grilled, of pine sap that smells like color. Because outside is where you'll meet him. Because only after going outside will locking yourself back in feel better earned. These are my reasons for staying inside. Thank you. Enjoy your day. It's called It's Time for Us to Sleep, My Darling. It's time for us to sleep, my darling. Say goodbye to this day. I am warm with you beside me, fingers stroking my hair. It's time we close the curtains, lock up for the night. Check all the windows and doors are closed, and turn off all the lights. It's time for me to sleep, my darling. It's time we said goodbye. But before I close my eyes, rest your hand on mine. It's time my clothes are folded and locked up in my closet. My ties and shoes in boxes, my books inside the chest. It's time I went to sleep, my darling, the sleep that freezes time. When every clock in the world will cease, their hands will wave goodbye. It's time you went to sleep, my darling. You've been up all night. I know you miss me beside you, miss my murmurs and sighs. It's time for you to wake, my darling, and open the curtains wide. It's been years and years and years. It's time they saw you smile. Until it's time you slept, my darling. The sleep that freezes time. Slowly close your eyes, my darling, and wake with your hands in mine. Informally, I call this the text. The message first came at 3 a.m. one September morning. And it would always come faithfully at the same hour every night after. Sometimes I was awake to read it immediately after the beat. Other times, I would only read it in the morning, just before I get out of bed. Always the same message, not one letter more or less. Arriving at exactly 3 a.m. 8 words that would undo me. A nightmare woke me up before the 3rd hour of the morning. Though forgotten immediately after I opened my eyes, the terror I felt from the dream still shook my body, and I knew it would be a while before I could go back to sleep. Thinking a glass of the orange juice I mixed up for dinner earlier would help calm me down, I rolled out of bed. Even with an entire room between my bedroom and the kitchen, the sharp chirp of my phone easily carried over the distance and the silence. Control over my fingertips were lost the moment I heard the sound, and I almost dropped my glass. A bit of orange juice slopped down my hand in front, sobering me from my shock. I took my time drinking in the kitchen, telling myself I didn't have to open the message, to delete it without reading it. When I was done, the pitcher had been emptied, and ready to go back to bed, I had already forgotten about the message, until I stepped into my room and saw a blinking red light in the darkness. While a small voice screamed for me to ignore the phone, my thumb was already unlocking it and opening the text. It goes, "If by tomorrow I was dead, will you be sad?" Except it won't happen tomorrow or on any other tomorrows, because it's already happened 2 weeks ago. The gasp of terror escaped my lips as it did every time I received the message. If by tomorrow I was dead, will you be sad? For a reason I can no longer recall, I never responded to the text when he had still been alive. I must have thought he was being serious, or that he was drunk, or he was in those moods where he liked to talk about speculations. Would you rather be deaf or blind? Would you save your father or mother from a sinking ship? Would you be sad if I died? I must have been studying for a test. Anyone who knew me would attest that I created an impenetrable fortress around myself when it came to studying, or preparing for a report, or doing my homework. With a few more thumb movements, the message is deleted, and I cover my face with my pillow, a hedgehog of guilt wriggling in my gut. If I had replied before, would that have done anything? If I had said yes, would that have stopped the razors from cutting the arteries between his thighs? Sleep only came back after I exhausted myself. The message came back at 3 a.m. the following night. If by tomorrow I was dead, will you be sad? Was this some cruel joke of his? Had he, after being denied a response, somehow programmed his phone to send me the same message every night after he died? Had someone gotten hold of his phone and kept hitting resend? Was it a glitch in the system? Was I just going crazy with grief? A few thumb presses and the message is gone. And that is how it went for a few more nights, a few more weeks. On the fourth week, having convinced myself that it was a prank after all, I snapped my SIM card in half and buy myself a new one. The message that came that night was from an unregistered number, but I knew it was from him. If by tomorrow I was dead, will you be sad? On the 6th week, I had already skipped classes often enough that my professors already believed I had dropped out of them. My parents were being understanding, of course, but they kept dropping hints that it wasn't expensive to start the semester all over again. It never occurred to me to do away with my phone forever. Maybe for some masochistic reason, I looked forward to his messages, repetitive though they may be. He was dead, but he still texts. On the 7th week, I was drunk for the first time since he died. The doctors had told me he died drunk, with a cocktail of a large variety of alcohol in his bloodstream. They said he probably didn't feel the blade cutting his skin. By that night, my tolerance for liquor had considerably been lowered. 2 bottles of beer was enough for me to see double. It might have been that state of inebriation which finally pushed me to do what I should have done the night before he died. The message came at 3 a.m. on the dot. If by tomorrow I was dead, will you be sad? I could barely see the screen, much less maneuver my thumbs over the keys, but I managed it in the end. Yes. The reply came promptly. I expected it to come, but all the same, my hands and feet went cold at the reply. Are you sad now? Tears were rolling down my eyes as I typed another yes. Do you miss me? So much. I miss you so much. I spoke the words as I typed them, trembling and sputtering. I wouldn't have gone through with it, you know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. And that was the last message I received from him. The night after, no beeps broke the 3 a.m. silence. Not on any other night either. On times when I was sober enough for her coherent thought, I speculated on what the experience had been about. Why had he tried to contact me? What did he want? And then I would drink myself stupid before I could come up with an answer. A tiny part of my mind, having walled itself from my grief and drunkenness, has figured it out. He had been waiting, as he had the night he lay on the bathtub with a tiny box of razor blades on one hand and his phone on the other, for me to respond. He was waiting for that. Yes, I would be sad if you died. Are you kidding? You're one of the most, if not the most important person in my life. Of course I'd be sad. But what good does that do? What good does talking to a ghost do? It was too late. I replied 7 weeks too late. Sure, he sent me a message back, but that didn't bring him back to life. If anything, he was probably disappointed in me now. Disappointed that the answer he was going to have was the one he had been expecting all along. Except it didn't come in time to save him. Flashes of this realization would penetrate my conscious thought whenever the liquor's strength was waning, and I couldn't bear it. How could anyone? So this is what I am now. A drunk dropout, unable to move on from my grief over the death of someone I loved. A death I could have prevented with just one simple word. Thank you. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Junix. I was nominated by Urquico. Also part of the Monday Poets, so if you have time, drop by sa Mount Bookshop, third Monday. And share your thoughts.
Hello.
Okay, so I have two poems that I've already read before, but yeah. So the first poem is called Hierarchy of Needs. If you're familiar with Abraham Maslow, the hierarchy of needs, so physiological, safety, love or belonging, esteem, and self-actualization. So I'm gonna go through the 5 stages or the 5 levels. Then, so this is how it goes. Hierarchy of needs. 1. Physiological. If you were air, I would gladly take you in. Fill my lungs with every particle that is you. You've been a significant part of me that taking you away would cause so much distress. Would wreak instability, disequilibrium. 2. Safety. When you enclose me in your arms, pay attention to the things I say. Fill every inch of me with kisses. Smile at me reassuringly. That's when I know I'm safe, that I'm secured, that I am home. 3. Love or belonging. I like the idea of us having the same wavelengths. Our interests go in the same direction and sometimes go their separate ways, but at some point would intersect beautifully. 4. Esteem. I used to think less of myself, always not good enough, almost there but not really. I never really thought I mattered until you showed me. 5. Self-actualization. It would be pretentious if I told you that I am a self-actualized person now. But with you, I've come to terms with my demons. And in you, I found joy and fulfillment. Thank you. Okay. So another cheesy poem. So this one is called Adverb of Time. Adverb of time. 1. Today, I woke up with my head swamped with thoughts of you. A smile started at the corner of my lips that eventually coursed through my face, like how the first light of the day spreads at sunrise, or how I feel my body respond to the first sip of coffee in the morning. I look at the space beside me that is intended for you. A space that I have saved just for you. Pillows, substitute your presence. Not as warm, but they will do for now. 2. What gets me through the day, no matter how difficult it is the idea that there is you to look forward to at the end of it. That later that day I will be seeing you again, but I will have to wait for a little while, which I find very difficult to do, because patience was never my virtue. 3. If there is one word that lost its appeal to me, it would definitely be the word forever. How can someone of ephemeral existence promise something as pretentious as forever? I would not tell you that. I will forever love you. What I would tell you instead is that I will always love you. Always meaning all the time. Always meaning every time. Always you and I. Thank you.
Wala.